Hello, family. Have you ever heard of generational wealth? Well, we're doing a special series called Generational Health. And we're going to have with us today Charlie Jordan Brookins. And we're going to be talking about faith, food, and fitness. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello, family. Pastor George. Another exciting episode of SET-4-LIFE. We've been teaching a series called Generational Wealth. But guess what? We're changing up a little bit. We got Generational Health. And with us today, we don't have a guest. We have another co-host with us today. We have Charlie Jordan Brookins. How you doing, Charlie?
Hi, I'm great, Pastor George. It's great to be here on this fabulousness. I love it.
Good. First of all, I love the set. But then also, I love not being at home on Zoom. Nothing wrong with having the kids, but there'll be no kids running by us at all today or anything like that. But it's good to have you here. And then, like I said earlier, you were such a blessing before when you've come and done this. Can you tell the people just a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, well, I'm Charlie Jordan Brookins, otherwise known as Coach Charlie.
Charlie.
Really the passion, the call in my life is to create greater service through greater health. And that goes, and it happens with the intersection of faith, food, and fitness. It begins with our spiritual foundation, eating the food that God created us to eat, and then also moving our bodies in a way that is consistent in the way that our bodies were created as well. Good.
And just let everybody know, Charlie's does it all. So we're going to not only talk about faith, we're also going to be talking about what we eat, food, but we're also going to be talking about fitness and in doing this. So hey, last time we've been doing this. We talked about COVID-19 and we talked about people that gain weight and different things when they were at home. And then I told you that I had an office where at home I was kind of in the kitchen and then I just kind of come over and do certain things. By the way, I also want to let you know I was listening to you. We had kitchen hours, so I let my kids know the kitchen was closed.
Yes.
We're going to learn some very specific techniques today that will help you. So first of all, Charlie, what are some basic things that people want to do right now in the area of their faith and their fitness and with their food?
No, absolutely. I mean, I think the beginning with the faith part, again, is elevating our self-care to an act of service. Right? The word says that our bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit. We know that one well. But a little further down, it says, you were bought with a price. You are not your own. So we have to look at the way that we take care of our bodies as service to God. Not just, we don't really have the luxury to do what we want to do. When you borrow things, you take better care of it. Right? So we have to take care of our bodies in a way that actually is more than what we would do on our own, right? Because it actually is, this is borrowed property.
Right.
And so we really need to take care of it. So the faith piece is really elevating our health care, elevating our self-care to an act of service.
Right.
And then on the food part, COVID or not COVID,
right.
We again need to eat those foods that were created for our bodies to move, created for our bodies to create energy and all of those things.
Right.
And so now that we're moving outside, outside of our homes, in our homes, it's like, don't buy none, won't eat none. Right? We need to protect our homes by making sure that we're not buying things that we know we're going to eat too much of, right? For our kids and for ourselves as well. And then again, fitness, now that the world is starting to open up more, we need to get outside. We can still do a lot inside, so we can never use the weather as an excuse, right? We need to we can create obstacle courses in our homes. We can just stand up and march. It's just getting your heart moving and getting blood flowing in your body. So those are the key things. But the main thing is start with self-care and being an act of service, and then what do I need to do throughout the day to align with that?
Right. And if you notice, people need to do more with self-care because there was a time when people couldn't go outside and do more.
Right.
So now people want to look at how they can go outside and do health things and also do things in the area of self-care. But now I just want to just hit a little bit on food. You brought up somebody. If you don't bring home junk, then you won't have junk in the house.
Right.
So what are some things that people want to do while they're shopping and then when we're doing this. And I want to go over shopping first.
Yes.
But also I want everyone to understand that we're also talking about generational health.
Yes.
So we're talking about with your whole family in doing this. So
Absolutely.
I think that going and shopping, I think, is a good thing. So what's some things people want to do when they go shopping to help them?
I was going to say, I love the idea of shopping as a family, right? And you know this, but the perimeter of the grocery store is really where you want to focus.
The perimeter.
The perimeter, because inside those aisles is where it gets a little funky. Right. And that's when you really need to read labels. You want to shop as labelless as possible. Now, I talk about being a radical label reader. Don't put anything in your body until you know everything that's in it. Right. But on the perimeter of the store, you don't have to read any labels, right? So we want to focus on that produce. That's where you start. You want to fill your cart with the leafy greens and the color of the rainbow. So you want to get those greens, those oranges, those reds, those purples, the white. So we want to get the cauliflower and the mushrooms. So all of those different colors, because they all have different antioxidants. So we want to eat a rainbow. So the first thing we want to do is shop the perimeter. If we go and when we go into the middle, that's when we have to be radical label readers.
Right.
You have to know what you're putting in your body. And if there are words that you can't pronounce, your body can't pronounce them either.
Okay, gotcha.
Right?
I got to slow you down there.
Yeah.
So we're doing the perimeter. So that means produce.
Yes.
So we're getting things. And I actually want people to do this, is take a picture. So I started doing this. I knew you were coming, and I took a picture. So I did through the perimeter. I went to Costco, so I went around and got all these greens, and I just took a picture and sent it to my wife. I said, look at all these greens, and then now I'm getting my kids. Just to let you guys know, I listen to Charlie a lot. I got my kids to start liking asparagus by air frying it. And that's just with olive oil. And then I got them because I think, you know what it is? It's the crunchiness.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I'm moving them, and it's a big jump, everybody, from Chick-fil-A to asparagus. What you got to do is you like mix it in with it. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
hey guys, let's sit down, and then we'll talk a little bit later. But I'm getting my kids to eat a salad we eat a salad first. Hey, remember if they get their spelling words? I feel like I'm plugging restaurants. We're gonna go to Panda, but I said, but we're gonna eat a salad first. So we're gonna eat the super greens, and we're gonna learn how to do this. So that was good. We're gonna eat. You said a rainbow. So we're gonna go out and get things, and then I want to ask you a question now about meal prepping a little bit. Yep. So then I sit down and I get these things, and we say kind of, hey, Monday we're going to do this, Tuesday we're going to do this, and kind of do it. So what are some ways people kind of meal prep in a healthy way?
Yep, well, that's one of the ways is just your days, right? Instead of, some people think about meal prep, and it's like, I've got to have all these containers and everything, and I don't have time. Right. But you can start by just structure, right? So if Mondays are your meatless days, and Tuesdays, it may be chicken, and Wednesdays is, so if you start that way, then you have a structure, and the kids can be a part of that. Right. I always have a freezer day, right? So there are enough healthy options in the freezer that I can always have a meal that can be put together, whether it's a stir fry or something. And so sometimes it's like we need to eat down the freezer. So one way would just be structuring that way. The second thing is if you shop right, you eat right. And using the freezer to support you. So you can get a lot of frozen produce, organic produce. So there's no reason why you can't have some broccoli because some people are afraid of buying too much produce because it goes bad. So you buy enough for the week, and you may have to go to the store once or twice to pick up another bag of greens. I'm not going to buy 4 bags of salad at the beginning of the week because I know that we're not going to eat all of that. But I also have vegetables in the freezer, so I can always supplement.
Make it quick, right?
And so that's another way. So meal prep doesn't have to feel like it's a major chore, right? It's just shopping right and having the right ingredients. I have beans in a can. Like you can get organic beans in a PBA-free can, and keep those. And I get frozen brown rice. So so again, I take the brown rice and stir fry it from frozen. Right. So there are ways to do things quickly as long as you have those staples and use the convenience in the healthy, convenient foods to make sure you have what you need now.
Right. I'm sorry. Some things you said were a fast pitch over some people's head. So I wanted to say this about the meal prep, and I'm going to tell you what I learned. I'm not summarizing. I'm just telling you what I learned. Number one, you said meatless days. Like some people are like, wait, what? Okay, the people that some people eat a lot of chicken. Some people eat a lot of different foods. So number one, but let me tell you what I got from you, because I always learn these things. And by the way, I'm writing some things down. I know nobody don't write nothing down. Just type it down. I know. But the first thing you said is be intentional about each day. So like you did something that was just like was really good, and I missed that, and we did that before the pandemic. So we have a meatless day. Then maybe we have Taco Tuesday. Then we have a different way. And then in doing this, and then I want to also get family involved. So I'm adding a little mix to it, what you said. So then I'm going to have my kids, I used to do this, be kitchen captain that day. So, okay, my son is this day, and then my son the other day, and then just you can start assigning things to people so you can see how food is prepared. Because right now, kids act like they living in a bed and breakfast. Kids like this, they just make an order and then expect it to be made. And then you can do that, but then also you said shop as a family. Most people do not go to stores with kids, go to the store with their kids because they always do all that stuff. It doesn't bother me, you guys, because when I go to the store, I have a list. This is handed down in the Thompson family. My mother, we went to the store and we'd say anything. Can we get this? My mother looked down, it's not on the list. It took me till I was 13 to figure out that wasn't nothing on the list, except for what we specifically had, you know what I mean, in doing it. So one, be intentional, and then also using the freezer. You said you had freezer day, but we might get a little deeper into that on the next time we go there. But have a day like being able to freeze certain things, like you said, rice or different things, so it can last. And then we want to do this because right now we're living. Sorry, I got to throw in the financial tips. Is right now it's inflation time. So one of the things we do is we look at what foods are. You said organic, and I'm going to ask you about that in a moment. But what foods our family eats, and then when's the best time to buy them? So everybody know they had a time when Costco had a lot of salmon that was on sale, so we bought a lot of it. Everybody says, hey, what are you having for dinner? We're having salmon. And I was like, hey, guess what? We're going to do it again. Okay, so it's like you can kind of go out and buy the food and use the freezer as your friend. Okay, can you tell me what it means when it says something says organic?
Yeah, well, I mean, organic means that it was raised without any pesticides or it basically was raised in its natural state. So there are levels, USDA, in terms of the amount of pesticides or the amount of just protection over produce, or even with meat it's usually grass-fed, organic, but again no hormones, no antibiotics. It's as clean as it can possibly be. Kind of farm to table. So that's really what it is. And and here's the thing: organic is always going to be more expensive. I've never seen organic food be cheaper. But you can do it, especially with produce. There are the Dirty Dozen, and you can find those on it's like ewg.org has the Dirty Dozen, or you can just Google Dirty Dozen. And so these are the 12 fruits and vegetables with the most pesticides, and so those are the ones that with the highest level. So those are the ones that you do ideally want to do organic, but the rest of them you're kind of okay. Or if it has a skin, you're probably okay, especially if it is a budget consideration. You don't have to buy organic everything, but you do want to kind of key in on the things that are best, and especially with meats as well, because again, what they consume is going to you. So you want to make sure that you are. So it's always not just what you eat; it's what they ate. So have that consideration as well.
Right. So no, that's important, and I like how we threw in the budget part. Is that finding out how to shop organically, and then if you see certain things are on sale, getting a little bit more, but then working that intentionally into, I would say, your budget, but then also into your diet.
Absolutely.
Because you are what you eat and everything like this. So now, can we talk again? Can you just repeat that one time you talked about a plate?
Yes.
She talked about a plate, and if you could just power plate. Let's talk about plate.
The power plate. Well, I say VP3 every 3. So
one more time.
VP3 every 3. Right. And what that means is if you take your plate, the V is for veggies. Always veggies first. You want half that plate to be veggies. That's your V. Your P is protein. So a quarter of that plate you want to be protein.
A quarter? What happened to the half? What happened to the veggie?
Half veggies, quarter protein. Okay. So if you think about, and this is what we often do, especially when we're talking about animal protein, a steak should be the inside palm of your hand. So the protein should be the inside palm, not half a plate. It's too much, right? So if we have veggies half, a quarter protein, and then that other quarter, you want it to be, there's 3 F's. So that quarter is fiber.
3 F's.
So that fiber can be in a starchy vegetable, it can be in a in a brown rice, even in a sweet potato. Any of those things can work for that fiber. And then the other 2 F's are healthy fat and fruit, and those are tiny, right? So you can have fruit for dessert, fruit for a garnish. A little healthy fat can be avocado, tahini. Ideally, especially if weight loss is what you're focusing on, you want to think about whole fats versus oils, right? Because oils have a lot of calories, and not that there are healthy oils, but if weight loss is your consideration, then you want to keep those healthy fats in a whole space, like an avocado.
You know what? From when you came before, something that really helped me was, I think, is about being intentional about eating is writing down the ones that you like and then to mix it up a little bit. Because if you eat the same food all the time, like spinach, or learning kind of how to saute it or different things like that's good. But so when you say vegetables, what are some vegetables that are kind of good vegetables that people should really look at?
No, sure. Well, you start with one. I start with the greens, because those dark leafy greens are just amazing for your body. Like, your body's like, thank you.
Right.
So those dark leafy greens, which can be a kale, it can be a collard, it can be, beet greens. There's so many different greens. So you don't have to get, kale is always like, the star of the show.
Right.
But there's so many other greens that are also great. But the dark leafies, the spinaches. So if you get a nice, as we said, a salad, but really focusing in on those.
Right.
Then when we talk about just the other color categories, tomatoes are good, beets are good, in that red category. Red peppers have a ton of vitamin C, and you can add those to things, and you can eat those raw as well.
Right, and even substitute certain things. Asparagus is okay?
Oh, absolutely.
So I learned how to make asparagus, and I made it. Guys, you guys have an air fryer. You air fry it, then you chop it up, and you make spaghetti. You can make spaghetti out of it. And then you can add that protein to it, and then you can do it. It's like, I call that like a little power plate.
Yes.
And then you have that, you got the sauce, and then it runs really well.
Yeah.
And the other one that you did that I didn't do a lot of, and this may be you, is sweet potato. I didn't. Yes. I started eating that now. Yeah. Like every week I eat that a couple of times, and I just kind of cut it up into smaller amounts, because in the store they sell it like this. You know what I mean? They sell large sizes and doing it. So like I think that people don't type in the chat if you do that a lot, if you eat sweet potatoes, but like some of the other ones, but I'm gonna let you go through them. But like sweet potato, what are some of the benefits of that?
Yeah, I will lean in on the sweet potato a little bit, because I love sweet potatoes, and actually I think I wrote a blog about you always have time to bake a sweet potato, because there's always like, I don't have time to do all these things. Look, it takes 3 minutes to clean a sweet potato, put some fork pricks in it, and put it in the oven. Right. And that's all you need to do. And if you cook it for 40 minutes or so, and then you let it sit there even longer, turn it off, it gets even sweeter. It's really amazing. I highly recommend that. Yes, just turn the oven off, let it sit there, and then don't forget, but it really actually sweetens it. But so sweet potatoes, number one, they have your orange, so they're going to have some vitamin C in there, but they're also high in fiber, and they're lower on the glycemic index, meaning they don't hit your blood sugar as much as a white potato would. And even the white potatoes are not, as much of a sin as everybody thinks they are. But sweet potatoes are amazing, and I will make 5 at a time, right? And then just have them in the refrigerator. You can have them for a snack. You can mash it up with some cinnamon. It's almost like sweet potato pie. Okay. So the little simple things. So yeah, sweet potatoes. Key. Brussels sprouts, another one that is amazing. They're those little cabbages. That's something, again, my air fryer. Cut them up, you season them up, put them in the air fryer. My kids love them. It's another way, again, to get that, the cruciferous vegetables, which we love. Cauliflower is another one, broccoli. Again, fiber, but also antioxidants and vitamins, and they taste good. Again, it's all about how you season them.
Faith, food, and fitness fuel our future. I love that. Hey, I hope that you learned something again in Set for Life. You remember, we always are talking about you being a better steward in 4 areas of your life. But right now, one of the things we want to make sure that we talked about today is generational health. So I would like for you to share this. Everyone give me a high five and share this with at least 5 people in your family and also friends, so we can all be healthy together. Look forward to seeing our next episode of Set for Life, where we live our lives by design, not by default.